All right, so I have not had to hand feed a litter in a long time. I, at one point, had started keeping babies from mamas who fed their litters well. And after starting doing that, I really did not have to do much in order to hand feed them. But this litter is from a mom. It's pretty hot and humid out here right now. So the mama is not producing as much milk as ideal, largely because she's hot, and it's also she's not wanting to get up as much and feed them. So they're like right on that teetering edge. It is a litter of 6, which is bigger for French Laps at least. And so they're on that edge of like kind of thriving, kind of not. But also you'll see this litter is going to be tough to show you what is I'm hungry and what is I'm a little bit wet and damp. So I'll try my best to show that one to you. Now, what I usually use, this is against most people's opinion, but I have always gotten the best results with this cat milk. It is not kitten milk replacer. I've tried it and they all died on it. But every time I've hand fed one and used this, it's great. I think because it's thicker and it's just got enough of a boost for them to get enough energy to keep going. I think that's my opinion on it. There's really not as much protein in it. It comes in a pack of 3, which I love because it's just a small pack. And once you're done with it this time, you can throw it out and the whole container doesn't go bad. And I will typically buy these syringes with the mouth on them. I will wash them and use them a couple of times in between different litters if I have to. But they come in a box of 6 and they're like $5. It's not a lot. But I like them at least separately packaged so you can keep them clean. It's really not hard to feed them or hand feed them, and overfeeding them, I really wouldn't worry about it. I've had some that are so fat, they look like they're going to explode. So that's something you really don't stress on that. So let me show you what the litter looks like and how I would choose which ones I would hand feed first. And we can really look at them and go like, okay, they need it or they don't. Okay, so this litter has had a little bit of trouble to begin with because it's extremely humid out here. It's almost 80% humidity. So what you see is multiple things. Right here on this one, this is like I got wet, like dampness. Now, that is also the direction that the dehydration lines, that I call them, show up. So it takes some learning to know the difference. But see how fat this one is? Clearly it got fed, which is a good thing. But what I'm looking at is like this one over here does not have a pudgy belly. Some of these over here are looking a lot better. They did get fed. This one's got a chubby belly. This one does too. Now here's the thing is I think mama took a long time before she decided to feed him. And so these wrinkles here on the sides tell you that they're still like, they're catching up from not getting fed that much. And so we're going to try and hand feed this one, because it's going to eventually as well, the bigger these get, they're just going to start bumping and beating into it. And that can also kill them as well. So let's try hand feeding this one and then we'll go from there. If you want your expensive hobby to stop taking from your living expenses and start paying you back, then the Profitable Rabbitry Playbook is my strategy and guidebook for how I run and operate a multiple 4-figure a year rabbitry on 15 rabbits or less. It goes over the business strategy, the herd management, the marketing strategies, the business decisions that you need to make in order to have a profitable hobby that you enjoy, but pays you back at the same time, turning it into a business. So if that sounds like something you want to check out, the link is in the description. All right, so I will open this and set this off to the side so I can just grab it, see if it'll balance, watch it fall over on me. Okay, now I will also have paper towels on hand because you need to be able to wipe away the drips because this does get kind of sticky and again, they're going to get wet. So we don't really want that to happen. We also, like, it is hot enough though that they're not going to get cold and die. So that's one thing that's kind of a blessing with this. So have that on hand. Ideally, I would like to get 2 milliliters into it, if at all possible. So I'll pull out 3, but you can kind of get rid of the air bubbles as well. I always try and get rid of the air bubbles that are at the top, so we're not shoving that into them. And then you know that there's some that are just, it's going to go off the side. So what I typically will do is I'll hold the kit like that, which is typically on his back, which is how it would nurse. And then I bring sometimes they don't want it, so you got to hold them tight and they might fight it a minute. Sometimes they take to it and are like, hey, this is awesome. But you kind of shove it in from the side, not where their front teeth, their milk teeth are. Yeah, he's not happy, which is fine, but it's for their own good. So Get them to open up. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, was that yummy? See, it dribbles down the side and we'll dry him off. But once they swallow it, then we just dribble a little bit more in there. And then once their mouth opens, yep, he's open. His mouth is pretty empty. Ooh, was that yummy? All right, I'm gonna sit that down, dry him off a little bit. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in view as best I can. Ooh, was that cool? All right, we didn't get all that much. We probably got about 0.5 milliliter. So let's see if we can get at least halfway through the 2 point. Come on, is that good? You liked it. What do you think? Okay, gotta keep him upright a little bit though. So his body's kind of like head's almost up but back, so it doesn't go up their nose. We don't want that to happen. Come on. I can also, ooh, there you go. I've gotten some of them to where you can work your way around the front and they'll just suck out of it, but that's pretty rare. It's a little bit of a force feeding situation, but all right. We're getting a little messy here, dude, but I think this will give him a boost. All right, come on. Can you do it? Let's try a little bit more. And it doesn't take a lot. Yeah, he might be falling asleep. Yeah, it's like, I'm out. Okay. When they start falling asleep, there's not a lot you can do about it. If the nozzle is clean and there's no fur on the end of it, I will put it back in the jar. But otherwise, I'll just shoot it out and not put it back in there. Because we want to try and keep it as clean and healthy as we can. But let's see if we can look at his belly too. Dry your legs off as best we can. Yeah, see, look, he looks a lot more pudgy. So it was a little bit more of a pudge there than he originally had. So that's what we want. It's just enough to keep him going. Give him an energy boost past mom and dad. Or past the siblings. But what I'm looking at, see how loose the skin is compared to the body. Eventually we want that to like not be there. But I think it has a chance to survive. We just got to watch them hour by hour and just see. The last thing that I would also throw out there is that if you get them pudgy enough in the belly, at least if you do that twice a day, you should be good. The mama doesn't feed them any more than that. So it's not like this, every few hours through the night kind of thing. Maybe if you were using the kitten milk replacer, because you mix that with water, it's so much thinner. And so it's done pretty well that way. So if you can do it twice, morning and evening, or just like separate it so it's like 12 hours apart, because you're trying to get them to survive that many hours through it. So it's like 5 hours together. That's not going to work. You need to spread it out so they're not going long chunks without food. But we'll do that one and just see how they go. The one thing I want to show you real quick, I'm noticing as we're standing here, is their skin is starting to look fuller, even as I'm like standing here. So, see if I can zoom you in a little bit. So, show off over here has a super fat belly now. But this one, what I'm noticing is the skin is losing this wrinkly look. See, this is more the look of the skin we're trying to get to. So the water, the milk, the moisture from the milk is kicking in, which is nice. So she probably fed him maybe an hour ago, if that. So anyways, if you're in a super hot situation trying to raise kits, then I would definitely let them stay on top. As long as it's 80 plus or even 75 plus, you'll be fine. And the whole thing with them being covered is just for the warmth. That's it. So if they're hot, let them stay at the top. They're just spreading out and having fun now. So I know it's like the first instinct is to want to cover them up and everything, but they're doing okay. So let them be hot, let them be on top. The last thing that I would also throw out there is that if you get them pudgy enough in the belly, at least if you do that twice a day, you should be good. The mama doesn't feed them any more than that. So it's not like this every few hours through the night kind of thing. Maybe if you were using the kitten milk replacer, because you mix that with water, it's so much thinner. And so it's done pretty well that way. So if you can do it twice, morning and evening, or just like separate it so it's like 12 hours apart, because you're trying to get them to survive that many hours through it. So it's like 5 hours together. That's not going to work. You need to spread it out so they're not going long chunks without food. But we'll do that one and just see how they go. The one thing I want to show you real quick, I'm noticing as we're standing here, is their skin is starting to look fuller, even as I'm like standing here. So show off over here has a super fat belly now. But this one, what I'm noticing is the skin is losing this wrinkly look. See, this is more the look of the skin we're trying to get to. So the water, the milk, you know, the moisture from the milk is kicking in, which is nice. So she probably fed him maybe an hour ago, if that. So anyways, if you're in a super hot situation trying to raise kits, then I would definitely let them stay on top. As long as it's 80 plus or even 75 plus, you'll be fine. And you know, the whole thing with them being covered is just for the warmth. That's it. So if they're hot, let them stay at the top. They're just spreading out and having fun now. So I know it's like the first instinct is to want to cover them up and everything, but they're doing okay. So let them be hot, let them be on top.